Good morning, everybody. It's Chris from Serene Education with your 4 Majors Notes update for the 9th of August 2012. Hi guys, hope you had a fantastic day yesterday. Just aware that yesterday we went in the market, well, we had no video analysis because Nikki and I were teaching students. Just to say we got 2 new guys on who've joined us, Nick and Les. Good luck guys, all the best, and thanks very much for choosing Serene Education. I'll see you guys in the chat later. So onwards, we're going to be doing the 4 majors this morning. Let's have a look and see what's been happening. Let's have a look at the daily in particular. I've used a previous chart. So you can see I've actually saved all my support and resistance lines. Just purely just give me an idea of what's been happening, and in relation to those support and resistance lines I just drew in last week. And you can quite clearly see that we've had some action over Friday till now, but you can see quite clearly that we had a break above this price support and resistance level here at 12,3500, and in doing so breaking this major support and resistance level, and we've had 2 consecutive days of indecision followed by yesterday's bearish day. However, most importantly, still remaining above that one important support and resistance line. So yesterday, very small trading range, but the most important thing we can actually learn from this is that Euro still finding the support above that prior resistance level. Okay, and if it remains this way, then we could see potentially for price to actually build on this and head up to the upside. So prior resistance becomes a new support. Prior support became a new resistance, and now we've seen that resistance being broken, and the 12,3500, you can see price is trading above that and maintaining that over the last 3 days. It's now got to stay above here. In order to do so, well, as long as it continues to do so, then we could see price pushing up towards those all important prior highs here. Ideally around the 12,700 would be a nice start, and ultimately up towards the institutional moving average, roughly around the 12,900 and the 1300 mark, where price consolidated for a number of months prior to that. So intraday, we want to see exactly that happening. You can see on the 4-hour here. Let me just zoom out. You can quite clearly see I've got my fib retracement areas on here. You can quite clearly see that at 38.2 fib retracement, and the institution moving average below price, and most importantly our RSI is also trading above the 50% line, and all the moving averages are below price. So as it stands now, everything's looking quite handy for that upside movement. However, you can notice the CTC is still red, okay, and it's still telling us we should still be looking for negative sentiment. However, I do feel if we still see price trading above 12,3500, then ultimately we're going to see price building, and we could eventually see on the 4-hour a blue arrow followed by a blue candle, and the CTC going blue to tell us we should be looking for top side. So important, and I'll say it again, as long as price is trading above 12,3500, then ultimately we could see potential for further upside movement quite shortly. Hourly, there we go. You can see that slight move to the downside yesterday, and then bouncing higher after 2 o'clock, 3 p.m. GMT yesterday. Notice the RSI above 50, and that all important 12,3500, which the institution moving average is moving below. You can see the CTC on the hourly has gone blue. However, you can see over the past couple of hours being capped around the 1238. So if we're going to see any positive movement to the upside, we do need to see 1238 intraday being broken. A nice bullish engulfing candle here. Then we can set our target as the prior high at 12,4300 for anybody looking for intraday charts. 12,4300 would be a nice target if we get a nice juicy bullish engulfing here, and that would be a nice target to start with. A break above that, then ultimately we can target that 12,700 long term. Moving on to sterling, good old cable, and let's have a look and see what's been happening daily. And consolidation over the past couple of days at the underside of the 1666. You see quite noticeably a little resistance level through here. Price moving into this fib retracement area, but failing to actually close above it. And this morning on the Asian session, pretty much punching into it and giving it a real go. Pulled back, but you can quite clearly see that price sentiment is still upside favored, even in this consolidated range. It still wants to be reattempting those highs at 15,700, which we can quite clearly see on a daily has been a noticeable resistance level. CTC on this time from the daily, we do have a blue histogram. However, we don't have a full histogram blue here. We're still red at the bottom. So ultimately this is still telling them to be a no trade setup, and I feel if we don't see a physical close above that 1566 mark on the daily, then ultimately we're not going to see a reattempt of the institution moving average as well as that 1575 above us. Okay, so looking at our intraday charts, let's have a look and see that slowdown. You can see past couple days very indecisive. There's a slight channel forming on this particular pair. You can quite clearly see there's those noticeable highs at the top there and the noticeable lows at the bottom here. So it's almost a channel formation within the past period of days, moving between 2 points quite successfully. And you can quite clearly see that we are attempting these areas over here at the top of this Fibonacci retracement. CTC has gone blue. All the moving averages below price. It does need to maintain these levels here at 1566 in order to see price reattempting those highs as I mentioned at 1575. However, if you're looking to actually trade this intraday to the upside, be well aware that if you to take your profit when you get to this area around you, because you can quite clearly see on the 4 hour we have seen price pretty much once it's started to trade into 1575, profit is clearly taken and we've seen a move to the downside. We don't want to be looking to trade this long term into it without actually taking any profit. So if you're looking at entries here to the upside after a nice bullish engulfing candle here preferably, then ultimately please take your profit when you get to this area here. Excuse me. Moving on to the US dollar Swiss franc, let's have a look and see what's been happening on the daily. We're quite aware that the 1000 mark at the top here was our long-term support and resistance level, and price has rallied into that. However, as we've got into it, we've seen price pulling back because of this level and heading back to a prior support and resistance level, a major one. You quite clearly here see one here at the 9700 mark, and bearish engulfing on Friday, seen price trading at the underside. However, the past couple we saw 2 indecision candles and we want to see a decisive candle. Yesterday's trading range taking us back up above this 970 mark. However, not very decisive indeed. Price action spending more time below the 50% of this entire wick. You can quite clearly see that. Closing below the 50% range of this wick or trading range yesterday. So not a very decisive candle, if that. Still very much in and around this area here. So we have 3 indecision candles. We do need to still see a decisive candle. However, you can see the candle, the actual candle in play at the moment. I'm very indecisive over the Asian session as we head into the European session. Not really much giving away. We do have 2 parts of our CTC strategy. We do have the red arrow and the red candle. We do need to see, very importantly, a confirmation signal. We have 3 indecisive candles in and around a major support and resistance. There would be no trade at this time I wouldn't suggest anybody trading this at this time until we get a confirmation signal, a decisive candle. 3 indecisions. We want to see a decision, whether it be bearish engulfing or bullish engulfing. Then we can look at potential targets to the upside or potential targets to the downside. So as it stands at the moment now, no clear direction. That means no trade on the US dollar Swiss franc in my eyes. Last but not least, the US dollar Japanese yen. Let's have a look at this daily. A lot of hesitation. Price consolidating over a number of over the past week or so. Not breaking these highs here at roughly the 78.45 mark. A lot of wicks, which means a lot of indecision, which actually made a lot of these spinning tops, and 78.45 being a noticeable resistance level. Body's not getting above this area. Prior 2 days ago, we saw price running and breaking closing. Yesterday's closing above or in relative to around it. Now it needs to kick off from the 78.40 in my eyes. You can see a nice bullish bounce off that, moving higher than we should be targeting around the 79.20 or the institution moving average in particular, before we see second target being here at 80, our prior major support and resistance level. Notice the CTC is still red across the board. The histograms, we do have a blue arrow though, and that's been confirmed because we found support here at a major support and resistance level at the 78. The longer it finds support at a specific a major support and resistance area, the more likely it's going to find a bounce or a reason to build on that momentum. And you can see price action over the past couple of days edging higher. It does need to get away from this area as soon as possible, and if we do get that, then we should be targeting 79.20 followed by 80. So intraday we should be looking for the momentum to generate. So if we look at our 4 hour, for example, at 78.45, you can see a lot of hesitation at this area here. So we want to get above this area as soon as possible. Close, ultimately a break above that 79.90 here. because notice the institution belongs to the market, and you can see as long as we're trading below the institution, our strategy long term is going to be, or for that particular time frame, is going to be negative. So got to get above this area here at 78.90 in order to be starting to look positive. The intermediate trend has been broken to the downside. Now we're seeing consolidation, and now we want to see a break and a trade higher. So we've got to be patient in this one over here, wait for a confirmed bounce with a lot of momentum, and then we can target that all important long-term 80, which is up way above us here. And I'll just make it nice and so you can see it. There we go. That'll be a long-term target if and when we start seeing the histogram on the other side going blue, and we can get above that institution moving average. Otherwise, guys, that's it. I hope you have a fantastic trading day. Please be aware of any news announcements. We'll have a look and see if there's anything today that's going to reflect in price action. We do have the ECB monthly bulletin. We have trade balance figures for sterling today. This afternoon we have the Canadian housing starts and the trade balance for both the US and the Canadian market. And then 1:30 GMT this afternoon we have the unemployment claims for the US sector. So be aware of it. See where prices are trading relative to major support and resistance levels, and see if any of these news announcements would likely factor into price action that'll give us any trading aspects. So other than that, please follow the rules of CTC if you are using it. Back it up with sound management, and most importantly, keep your trading simple. Okay, plot your major support and resistance levels, trend lines on your chart, and look and see what price action is doing relative to those major support and resistance lines. You'll be surprised what you'll be able to get by just keeping your trading very simple as possible. Otherwise, have a fantastic trading day, and I'll see you first thing tomorrow morning. Until then, trade serenely.